When you're first learning how to make videos, there is an awful lot to learn. So in this video, I thought we would take a very quick look at 3 simple cuts that you can use within your edits to help improve them, make them more visually appealing, and improve your engagement and watch time and all of that jazz. Let's get into it. So very quickly, just before we go any further, if you're new here to this channel, my name is Scott Edwards. I make all sorts of video, photography and tech related videos. So if they are the sorts of things you are interested in, consider clicking that little subscribe button just down below there and come and be a part of this community, which is very slowly creeping towards 4,000 subscribers, which is, for me and my little channel, mind-boggling. So thank you to everyone that is watching the videos and subscribing. Now the jump cut is probably the most simple type of cut that you can use within your videos. It's not something you will see in movies or on TV. It tends to be something that you see more of on YouTube, and that is because we have been accustomed to it on YouTube because it is used a lot to speed up the pace of your edits. It's not the most visually appealing type of cut, but because it can be used to speed up the pace of your videos, that's why it's used on YouTube an awful lot. Because if you can improve the pace of your videos on YouTube, people are more likely to watch for longer. And on YouTube, watch time is essential. You want people to be watching for as long as possible. So you will often see jump cuts in shots like this, where the camera is on a tripod and you have someone talking to the camera like I am right now. And I've used jump cuts in this video to cut out all my pauses, all my breaths, all my mistakes that I've made whilst talking to the camera. And that again just helps improve the flow and the speed of the video. It's pointless keeping any pauses in the video because it's just dead space. No one needs to see pauses that don't need to be there, and you don't need to see me taking a deep breath like that. You don't need to see me making my mistakes to camera. All you need to see is the information I'm trying to get across to you. So if we very quickly jump into Final Cut Pro here, you can see I have a clip of me talking, and you can see that we have gaps in between here as well. So if I play it here, it's more interesting. We have a big pause, and that's not needed. We just want to take that out and move on to the next bit of speech. So I'm going to put a little cut there and then just cut out that dead space. Make it look a little bit more interesting. So what we're going to do, and that is a jump cut. That is all you are doing. You are cutting out that dead space, that little bit of speech that you maybe didn't need. My lights died up there. But that is all a jump cut is. You are cutting out all the information you don't need. That might be a pause, it might be a big breath, or it might be where you made a mistake or said something you don't actually need to put in the video. So a jump cut is taking out that part of the clip you don't need and then just attaching it to the end of the previous cut. And if you use Final Cut Pro, they will automatically attach to each other. If you use another piece of software, you might need to physically drag it to the end of that clip. The one problem with jump cuts is they can be quite obvious sometimes. They can be quite jumpy. So one thing you can do to hide that is maybe add in a little crop. So if we wanted to just zoom in a little bit on this next cut, a little bit more interesting. So what we're going to do, it almost hides that cut a little bit because it looks almost like a different camera angle, even though it isn't. It just changes it up a little bit, and that again helps increase the watch time and just make the video look a little bit more visually appealing, a little bit more professional. My tip with jump cuts is to use them as often as you possibly can, but also as little as you possibly can. And that sounds a little bit weird, I know, but what I mean by that is use them as often as you need to. So cutting out all those breaths that you don't need, cutting out those mistakes, and those even small pauses make a big difference. But also you want to use them as little as possible, because if you start using them a lot, then it can become very distracting. If you're using them between every single word, obviously that's a very extreme example, but if you use them so much, it can become very distracting. So use them as often as you need to, but equally as little as you need to. Now J-cuts are slightly different to jump cuts. J-cuts are used to advance the storyline and almost mask the transition between two clips. So a J-cut is where you can hear the audio of the next clip before you see it. So you're still seeing the visuals of the previous clip with the audio of the next clip coming in before you see that next clip. So you effectively hear it before you see it. And if we jump into Final Cut Pro, I will show you what I mean. And we have two clips here. We have one drone clip and the same clip of me talking that we just used previously. And at the moment, we just have a jump cut between the two. But what we want to do is almost try and mask that transition and just progress the story along a little bit easier on the viewer. So what we're going to do is if we just take this clip and drag it underneath this previous clip, you can see now, and obviously you'd never use it at all. You can hear the clip before you see it, and it just helps the video flow a little bit more fluently. You're not as aware of the transition as you would be as if it was a jump cut like this. And obviously you'd never use it at all. Just looks a little bit more pleasing on the eye. Any way you can use a J-cut to hide a transition and make it flow a little bit more fluently, you are going to be onto a winner. Keep in mind, if you are using a J-cut, that we have all of this dead space on top of the clip that we put underneath. So if you are using Final Cut Pro with the magnetic timeline, if we then drag on another clip, that clip is automatically, because of the magnetic timeline, going to sit on top, and that has ruined our J-cut. So what you are going to need to do is, if we get rid of that, you are going to either need to make a cut there and drag it up, and then we can get rid of that, or you're going to need to fill the dead space with a blank clip. So you can do, if there isn't one there, you can do that by clicking Option and W and dragging it out to the length of the clip that you need. And then you can see that clip there, and then we can drag that clip and it will start at the end of that clip. That's only something you need to know if you use Final Cut Pro. You just need to be aware of how the magnetic timeline works. Now an L-cut, as you might have guessed, is very similar to a J-cut, only in the fact that it is completely the opposite to a J-cut in the sense that it is flipped around. So instead of hearing the audio before you see the clip, the audio of that clip fades out into the visuals of the next clip. So at the moment here we have a jump cut where we have the clip of me talking and it jumps straight into the clip of a kitchen from a property video I was filming last week. If we wanted to create an L cut, the audio of this clip here would carry on underneath this next clip of the kitchen. So we could do that just by dragging over this clip on top here, and this is an L cut. Creative. And you can select, and it's just like adding B-roll clips on top of your footage, so you can still hear me talking underneath that next video clip. So by using an L cut, again like a J cut, it just helps the video to flow a little bit more, and it just feels a little bit more fluid and makes it easier to watch for the viewer, because it's not as jumpy, if you might pardon the pun, as it would be if you were using jump cuts. And it stitches the video together that little bit more. It looks more professional, and you can just have fun with it and be creative with it in your own ways. And the more you do it, you will find what works best for that particular video that you are making. So there you go. There are 3 different sorts of cuts that you can use within your video edits to make them more interesting, to make people watch them for longer, and to help improve your videos as well. And also to help make it more interesting to make the videos. And that's also why we make videos, because it's fun to do. So anything you can do to help get you more interested in making videos is going to be a win-win at the end of the day. If you'd like me to make any more videos on this topic to do with even more different cuts within your videos, or just video editing in general, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and I shall see you in the next video.